Get ready with me while I tell you all about how I learned to belt. Start out with the Rare Beauty foundation here. I love this stuff. Also, I have not done a makeup tutorial get ready with me video in probably 6 years, so bear with me if it's a little rough. But I have been singing my whole life, and if you're watching, you probably know that I'm a voice teacher and I have my master's in vocal pedagogy. I'm gonna go ahead and blend this in with I dropped my holder, a damp beauty sponge. This is my favorite thing. It's just the Real Technique sponge. But I have been singing forever. I've been taking voice lessons since I was like 13 years old. And I was a little bit of a belter when I was younger, but once I started voice lessons, I stopped. I was training as a soprano and basically fell into being a classical voice major in college. And I was told at one point by someone who I'd been working with that I would only ever be a classical singer, and I kind of pigeonholed myself after that I was only a classical singer. And sorry if this gets bright at times, this is a new ring light. I'm still kind of learning how to work with it, but I very much felt at times like I pigeonholed into being a soprano and only singing classical music, and that's not what I wanted to do. It didn't feel authentic to me, and so I had a lot of struggle, honestly, through my whole undergrad, because that's what I really wanted to do. And even though I went to a school that offered a lot of options for commercial music, it wasn't in my degree. And so I was studying specifically classical, and so when I finished, I wanted to do musical theater and I wanted to learn how to belt. And that was something I'd never spent time training because that wasn't available to me previously. And so I started taking musical theater voice lessons, and I worked with this wonderful teacher when I moved to Chicago, who literally I walked in and I didn't think I was ever going to go back to another lesson, because she started telling me things about my voice that I'd never heard before. Now after getting my master's in ped, I'm like, oh, all of that makes sense. She literally was like, I just had a gut feeling I should work with her. And she started teaching me how to use my chest voice. She started teaching me how to belt and how to do that in a healthy and sustainable way that wasn't hurting me. And it was, let me tell you, it was rough to start. I was trying to do all these things and I still kind of sounded like a classical singer trying to belt, and things were tight for a while because it was a whole new style of singing. It's kind of normal whenever you start learning any new skill for it to be a little bit rough and shaky at the start. You don't want to be super tight or for there to be any actual vocal damage risk happening, but when you're developing those muscles, there's gonna be some discomfort, and it's not pain. There's a difference between pain and muscle work, so I want to make that clear. But it took quite some time for me to get comfortable doing that. And if you've been around here for a couple years, you will probably notice that especially if you have watched any of my content pre-2020, you would know that my belt has grown a ton. And so really what I did is I started working a lot, and it actually improved through my grad school program when I was specifically working on classical, because I had a teacher who was working with me on my chest voice in a functional way and was basically telling me chest voice is functional singing and it's part of what we need to do in order to actually develop a healthy and cohesive classical sound. I'm gonna use the Rare Beauty blush. I have a lot of Rare Beauty here, I'm realizing. I really like the brand. It's good and it's affordable. But yeah, so I started really focusing on building my chest voice even while I was working on my classical, and it helped. My dog is very opinionated today, so we're gonna hope that he quiets down for the rest of this video. But as I was training my chest voice and getting stronger there, everything else was getting stronger. And then when the pandemic hit and I finished grad school, I focused more on my belting, and I worked with a teacher specifically on that. I've been working specifically on trying to develop my belt and my musical theater sound, even through a lot of my classical training for, we're going on 8 years now, and it's been night and day. And the thing is, I used to be a belter when I was little. I belted a lot, and then when I started training, also a lot of the research that we have on belting and on commercial technique has come out really in the last decade. So like a lot of this just like wasn't even stuff that was talked about when I was younger, when I was taking lessons and in choir and things like that. It was not something that was really known about. And this is the Rare Beauty bronzer stick. I've been really getting into cream products lately, and like it's been making a world of difference for my skin in Colorado because it's dry here, especially in the winter. I started working with some teachers and just really training and reinforcing. Honestly, a lot of it was when I started getting consistent with my training and like singing music that I really loved to sing, that I was having fun with. That's when I started to really grow, because I was actually putting in consistent effort. That was one of the hard things for me when I was in grad school, was that I wanted to show up more. Like I wanted, and like even in undergrad, when I was singing all this classical music, like I wanted to practice more, but I had a hard time motivating myself to, because quite honestly, I didn't like what I was singing. And so like, yes, I would practice, and especially in grad school, I hated my repertoire. My undergrad teacher was really good about picking good repertoire that I actually enjoyed singing, even if like it wasn't my favorite style. But my grad school teacher literally just picked music I hated and like didn't give me an option to sing anything else. So that really sucked. Part of it was I was just actually like excited about what I was doing, and like I could show up and give you a good finished product if you assigned something to me, but actually enjoying what I was doing was a completely different type of energy for me. And I started getting really consistent with my practice, and I started actually reinforcing my skills and working with some really, really, really great teachers who've helped me so much. Truthfully, I think the key to developing really healthy, effective singing and learning any new skill, especially like if you're wanting to transition into belting from being a classical singer, is finding really good teachers who are able to really help reinforce the skills that you are looking to develop, and who have like really good credentials and like understand how to teach that. And also having consistency in your practice schedule and actually warming up your voice and practicing repertoire on a consistent basis. And like, I really think that like that is the key. That's actually why I created that voice check-in journal that you're seeing all over my social media. And it's because like it is such a good resource, and you don't need that journal. You can do any journal. It's just nice that it's like pre-made for you, and there's a lot of good prompts in there to like help you reflect on your voice and tune into what's happening every single day. But it helps you to really realize like what's going well and like what maybe needs some more attention, and like finding what works for your voice, because at the end of the day, your voice has things that it's going to naturally tend towards. And also there's a lot that we can learn, like just like any sport is a learned skill, singing is a muscular activity, and you can condition those muscles. I'm using the ColourPop Quartz palette here. I love this palette. It's a nice like cool toned neutrals, and it's so great. But yeah, I think a lot of it is about really like knowing that you're working with a good teacher and like trusting them to help you move forward. And you need to, again, work with somebody who's credentialed and like understands how chest voice works and how to develop different parts of your voice, because you have to develop both of your registers independently in order to be able to do anything more high intensity. But it's super, super, super important and super beneficial to be able to do those things and work with someone who just really understands you and really knows how to help. Also, honestly, there's some really good, like when I first started learning how to belt, I worked with my teacher on a very like speechy type piece, and it helped me so much to start with that, to have that more like speechy piece in there, to start accessing that part of my voice, to help me learn how to sing brighter vowels and to help me learn how to sing in chest voice, something that like stayed, that didn't really cross my passaggio too much, was so helpful. But it's been a journey. Like if you've been around here and you've witnessed any part of that, like you'll know it's been a journey to learn how to do this. And I literally am so grateful for going through grad school too, because as much as it was challenging, I learned a lot, and I understand a lot more now about how the voice works and like why certain things work. And it's been really helpful for my own voice and for being able to like safely teach other people how to do the same thing that I've been spending so much time learning how to do. And like that's honestly why I love working with classical singers so much and like teaching classical singers how to belt, because I feel like it's something that we like understand. A lot of us can understand conceptually how it can work, but like getting the actual coordination to happen is tricky. and being able to like figure that out takes just a lot of work, and somebody with a really good ear who really understands what's going on, who can actually help you kind of parse out what's going on there. Also, I used in this palette, I used the really light shade here, and then I mixed this one and this one, and then I used these reflective shades. I used this one and this one, and they are so pretty. This is like kind of my standard everyday eyeshadow look, and I love it so much. And I'm gonna tightline because it just does help your eyes pop more. Also, I don't use much in the way of eyeliner. I haven't in several years, honestly, and I feel like I love the way my eyes look so much more without eyeliner. This is the Ilia mascara, and this brush, I don't know if you can see, it's so interesting. It has a different like texture on each side, and I've been still kind of getting a feel for how it works, but I think I really like this mascara. It makes my eyes look really good. I love it. I think it looks so good. For highlighter, I am using the Too Faced Moon Crush highlighter. I just got this and I really like it so far. I've only played with it a little bit, but it's so pretty. It's just like, look at that glow. It's so nice, but it's like, it's definitely a little bit more beamy than I'm used to, but it's not, at least in like my normal everyday life, it's not like overpowering. It's definitely pretty beamy on camera, especially with the light. I mean, that's the point. Highlight's supposed to reflect. But seriously, I love this thing. To finish up, we're going to use lipstick. This is a little sample size of the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, and I love it. I've been playing around with different lipsticks because I've been noticing that I sing better when I'm wearing certain shades of lipstick. So I'm kind of experimenting to see what like formulas and what colors like work best and like help me sing better. And if you want, I will like actually do a legitimate study on this because I'm just super curious. And it'll be like the not the most like scientific or well-controlled study, but it'll still be at least like track data and use a spectrogram and things like that. So let me know if you want to see that. If you are a singer, especially if you are a classical singer, and you're wanting to learn how to improve your belt this year, and you're wanting to start branching out into doing more like musical theater, leave a comment, let's chat. And also, if you're wanting to just get more consistent with your voice practice in general, if you're wanting to get more consistent with your voice practice in general, pick up the daily voice check-in. It's there to really help you to be consistent and stay on top of your voice training and be able to track what's going on so that you can actually have a better conversation with your voice teacher and things like that about what is going on in your voice. Thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!